Well, folks, we're getting excited for the National Farm Machinery Show in Louisville next week. But if you can't make it down to Louisville to catch the recording of the show on Valentine's Day, don't worry. We're also going to be in Houston for this year's Commodity Classic. And there is a lot coming at this year's Commodity Classic. Joining us now to dig into the details is Brandon Honeycutt. Brandon serves as the co-chair of the Commodity Classic Committee. He's a farmer in Nebraska. Brandon, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Well, let's dive into the details. Commodity Classic, for the first time, as I understand it, is going to be in Houston, Texas. When is that going to be happening, Brandon?
Yeah, it's our first time in Houston. It's coming up in less than 3 weeks. It's actually taking place February 28th through March 2nd. We think we have a great lineup, a great location, and a lot of fun things to do.
Now, the theme this year is New Frontiers in Agriculture, of course, with that NASA connection. Brandon, what are we going to be talking about? What are some of the issues up for discussion at this year's Commodity Classic?
Commodity Classic is always that fascinating event where you have sort of two separate things going on. One, we have the trade show. So, you get to go there, kick the tires, see what's going on, meet some of the more of the big wigs within some of the major companies that we're familiar with. And on the other side, it's also the association meeting. So NCGA and ASA, NOG, and the sorghum producers all have meetings going on. So we talk about the issues at hand, but that's just one part. It's for any farmers to come to the trade show, come to the learning sessions, really have a good time.
Brandon, now you've been involved with the Commodity Classic for some time. You're a farmer. You're involved in the ag industry. What's the appeal for you? Why did you want to serve in this capacity and be a part of this show?
We really think it's the premier show in agriculture, and there's a lot of things I personally have taken away over the years. A lot of times just at the trade show, walking around, seeing what's new out there, things that I have discovered that I've utilized on my farm now that I never would have had the opportunity to see if it wasn't for Commodity Classic. Plus, there's always the big reveals of new tractors, planters, what's the latest in seed technology. So there's a lot that from that aspect that I learned, but also going to the learning sessions, the mini what's news, all of those different events I go on help me bring something back to the farm and to my community.
Absolutely. And Brandon, I understand you've served on the Nebraska Corn Board. You mentioned this is the place that associations get together as well. And of course, 2024 is a presidential election year, so it's worth thinking about that kind of national impact this year, isn't it?
It is. We're still working on the farm bill. We've got a lot of stuff on the corn side from ethanol. There's some things going on also on the soybean side, and it's those places to have those conversations. It's a really important time for agriculture. We know some of the challenges going on, but this is always the event that I think brings hope and new energy and new life to agriculture.
Absolutely, Brandon. There's lots of work to be done at Commodity Classic, connecting with your peers in the industry, looking at what's new. But there's also fun and a lot of exciting things to do at Commodity Classic. Could you fill us in a little bit on some of the outside the trade show events that are going to be happening, either the tours or, of course, what happens at the end of this year's show?
Yeah, every year we have different tours set up so people can go look it up online at Commodity Classic and just see what tours are still available, which ones they may want to join in on. We always try to have something for everyone, whether it's directly related to ag or maybe just a one-off. But one of the more interesting things that we kind of stumbled upon was it was just by chance, Commodity Classic is happening at the same time as the Houston Rodeo. And the Houston Rodeo is a massive, massive event with concerts every night, the rodeo every night. And so our evening of entertainment that we usually do on Saturday nights is actually taking place at the Houston Rodeo this year. The tickets are very, very limited at this point, but it's an up-and-coming country artist is the night we got. It's Hardy. There's a lot of excitement around that concert, and it's always a fun time to be able to go to the concerts, be able to go to the tours. Just encourage anybody to do that.
Absolutely. It's a great time to kind of reflect on the busy week prior. Now, Brandon, for folks who maybe haven't made their arrangements yet, you mentioned tickets are getting short for the rodeo, but we can still get registered for the Commodity Classic event, correct?
Yeah, there's still plenty of time to register. Go to Commodity Classic online and see what days you want to go. If you want the full event, part of the event, hopefully there's still a few hotel rooms left right close to the convention center. But it's a great location. It's our biggest trade show ever. We have two separate floors of of trade show space, lots of learning to go on. So I really encourage people to really take a look and make their way to Houston.
And we're building on a pretty big success, Brandon. As I recall, last year's Commodity Classic in Orlando, correct me if I'm wrong, was record large attendance, wasn't it?
It was the largest attendance we've ever had, and we think we can beat it this year. Coming to a new place, new activities, new ideas, we really think we can even beat last year's record.
And there's certainly plenty to discuss in the world of agriculture. Brandon, one more time, the Commodity Classic website is the place to go to get registered. It's the place to find the schedule, see everything that's coming up. Would you give our audience that website one more time?
Yeah, it's commodityclassic.com. If you go on the App Store, whether you're iPhone, Android, go look for the Commodity Classic app. There'll be free Wi-Fi available. So you'll be able to utilize that app on the trade show floor, get your schedule of events, kind of plan out what you want to see, get notifications. So look both those up and take advantage of it.
Absolutely, folks. Make those plans now. Commodity Classic will be here before you know it. Brandon Honeycutt, co-chair of the Commodity Classic Committee, thanks so much for filling us in this week.
Thank you for having me, and I hope to see everybody there.
Well, we certainly do too. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be at Commodity Classic Wednesday, February 28th, taping from 3 to 5 in the Case IH booth. We sure would love to see you there.